Easy people, nice things here. This one's going to be a combined thing, so I'm going to split it into two parts because it felt a bit too long to be going in like one video. And this is about two things: about main mode and how you can utilize main mode, and also about setting up projects for live use for gigs, and how you can get other projects inside of one project. So you've created an arrangement and a song somewhere, and now you want to get that song to compile together so that you can go and perform it live. The thing about the Force, just a quick one, and why I just, even now, this many years after, I still really enjoy it, is it's the best live performance tool that I've ever seen, I've come across, as a standalone in itself. I mean, I used to use laptops and I used to just hate them, and I've used nearly everything, and everything can be self-contained in here. It's just a matter of thinking about it. But I mean, it's so ace because like you can have two vocalists at the same time as you're sending out music, and that's just without adding extra audio interfacing into it. Literally two vocals. You can have returns if you want, so you could have actually two fallbacks separate from the actual thing itself. You could send a signal to a drummer, so if you wanted to play with a live band but to a click, you can play, which I do a lot, is I join band jams. They're always blues. For some reason, people are crazy about this. Rock folks who just always want to play blues music. But I mean, out there, I bring this, and it's easier than bringing a Nord or anything. So play just keyboards, and I can change up the sound as well. So I can start playing strings and things what people normally wouldn't do in a live performance or wouldn't think about. That's why I like technology. Anyway, getting away from the point. So what we have here in 3.5 is we have the main mode. The main mode kind of encompasses, is that a word? The main mode brings together all of the things, all of the elements. So it brings together the matrix, it brings together the arrangement, it brings together the tracks and sequences. And also you've got the other parts what you can't use. If, for example, sample edit now can be on the main mode, so it's on the main thing. So if I need to get to sample edit, I can just do that, as opposed to where back in the day I would have to go and then go here and try and find it, and I can still arrange the panel. But now I can go to main mode, I can tap that to go to main mode, or the shortcut is by pressing matrix and navigate at the same time, or navigate matrix, and you're back to there. So either one can be used. So you can, if you find that troublesome, you can just put the shortcut there and add a shortcut there. So this is how the main mode kind of works. At the top, you've got the gig, whatever it is, the project, the whole of the project. This one's the gig test project. So I think I called it gig track. But anyway, gig test project, which I've created. This project consists of different types of basically different types of setups on sequence. And I wanted to do this to show you the different ways that you can use different elements to get songs into a project. Basically, you have a couple of things here. So let me go to launch. The way I've set this up, and I always advise, is I always set it up to show the arrangement in the clip matrix. I find this really fast and fluid whenever I'm creating arrangements, because it's there. I can see where they are, and each track separately can see where they are and what they do. Underneath that, you have your clip matrix as your normal clips as they are. So how this relates to this is you have two panels. You have the track panel, which is on your left hand side, go this one, and then you have your clip panel, which is also your arrangement panel. When you move to the top, which we're looking at now, the top, and if I go to matrix, it's the similar thing. I'm looking at the top now, so this is all lit up. If I press stop, you'll see these back up because they were on. So this top thing here is the same as this here. So if I select that and there's a line here, if I scroll, I'm scrolling down these clips here. So I'm scrolling down these. Obviously, there's nothing on them because they're blank. So if I just move this a little bit so that you can see this. So I'm going to go navigate and just pull this across so that I'm at track 1. So I'm at track 1 in the arrangement. So track 1 is beats. In the arrangement on track 1, which is an audio track, is this piece of audio. So I'm looking at the arranger, but I'm looking at it in here. If I double tap into there, I go into grid, which shows you the arranger, so I can edit from here and whatever in the same way. You've got your track types, which I've set up here because this is my gig track. This is your sequence. All your information goes into a sequence there. So this track information is going to be relayed in here in the sequence. So if I go back to the arranger, then I've got all my information here for this track in this sequence. If I was to do it onto a clip, the information would be on this track with this clip. So it would be with this clip, but it's separate. It's not in the sequence. So there's pros and cons to that. And the short version is any clip information here remains constant. The clips are separate from the sequencer. The clips are separate from the sequencer. I wanted to say that twice. So, for example, if I go to a gig track 2 and I've got clips here, those clips are going to still exist. Whatever that information is going to still exist on track 2. But, and this is the massive advantage, this information in the arranger is completely different. So anything you set and do in the arrangement is in that sequence. So if I change to another sequence here, this is completely different information. It's only the clip data which is the same. What does that mean? Well, it means this. Basically, I can have, because I'm just played it back, so let me go to arrange. There you go. So I've got this, that's my first tune, and then let's say, right, I'm going to go and do another tune. So this is a totally different, completely different tune, and it's an arrangement. So it's an arrangement. I've just done it as a little short arrangement, and then I've got another track which is a totally different track again, and that's it. This is the best way to use it. I'll say this again. This is the best way to use it. Anything that you're going to do when you're performing, if it doesn't need to be played, commit it to audio. So make an audio stem of it. This is what I've done on this track. So on track 1, I've done beats. So everything that I'm going to do on here, drums are going to always be on this channel. So that's one I've set up for audio tracks. So drums is on that. Bass is on that channel. Keys are going to be on that. And then vocals, recorded vocals are going to be on that. Okay, a quick change up because I think this is quite nifty. Let's say you have done the committed audio way of doing it, which I still say is the best way of doing it. If you don't have to play anything, commit it as a stem. Now, let's say you're wanting to extend a track. Well, there's a nifty way of doing it. And I would say, to be on the safe side, you can have one loop. You can always have one loop that you can extend to extend a track, and that's definitely going to work. You can possibly, depending on how good you are at moving stuff about, you can have several loops. The only caveat to it is you always want them loops moving forward. You never want the loops to happen before the timeline. This is that timeline thing. So for example, I'm playing this now. Let's say I want a loop here. That's cool. I can start this and this will just loop round. So when it hits this point, I can loop round, I can zoom in and I could loop it and I can move it in. So I'm there. again, if I'm nifty, I can have other loops going on. So I can have this and I can play on top of it and whatever. And then I can let go. And it's going to still go. And if you know you're good at it, you can get this loop and you can drag this loop. Or if you're fast, and that's why I say it's a bit of a play around. So I would say you could probably do that. Pull that to there. Now you can hit a loop as long as you're inside that timeline. You're all right, because now that's going to come back round. So I can shorten that, and I'm back to there. So I'm into a loop again. So that's a good way of doing it. You can't do it on sets, and you can't do it on anything else, because if I was to do that as a set, what will happen is it'll do this. It'll just jump. So if I was to do a loop, and let's say that loop, and I was to do this loop somewhere before that timeline, and let's say I have it off and I'm playing. So I'm playing from there and I'm like, yay, this is going great. Let me bring that back. Bring it back. This is what happens. You're just going to jump to it. Now, depending on how nifty your timing is, if your timing's impeccable, you're all right, you can do it. But if your timing's ropey, it's a no-go. But anywhere ahead, you can always set one loop. So what I do in my things is I set one loop. There's one more way you can do stuff. Again, it's more about how good you are at using this. What you can do is you can press this, press launch, you can press select. You select one of these arrangements so you're not on clip. And then if you go to grid and you're in screen, and you should always be in screen, unless you've set up Q links, you should always be in screen. You can use the third Q link to move. So you can use a third Q link to move across that. So let's, I didn't want to take this long, but let's go to something where I know there's audio. So let me go here. Let me go back down to here and launch, select, got a piece of audio. So now I've got audio and I've got the scroll, so I can zoom in and I'll play. So I'm playing this. I can do, and this is a DJ trick. This is a loop move DJ trick. So I've got on Q4, I've got the size of the loop, and then I've got the start of the loop. So if I'm careful, I could move slowly, and I could move all the way back. That's what I not used to. Well, whenever I DJ, that's what I kind of use. And it's a good way of slowly going back without jumping the time. So if you can see now, I'm going back through this track, but because it's still got the same vibe, I can kind of do that. So if I was really nifty, I could have, and I know where I am on the tune, I could be playing. As long as I get, do you see how I jumped there? Because as long as that timeline isn't moving before it, you're all right. So now I'm right back at the beginning of that song, and I could come, and then I could make this time even smaller, and I could move it around. And then go back, and I could carry on with the launch. So again, that's a bit more sophisticated, but that's just if you want to liven up like stems. If you want to liven up stems, there's loads of different ways of doing it. I just thought it was worth mentioning. Right, so like I said, this is going to be 2 parts. So the next thing is number 6. So I've got everything else that I've done. I've got all my gigs, my tracks, and I want to import another track from another project into this one. So that's what I'm going to show next in the next part. So like and subscribe and drop any questions, and I hope that's kind of helped a bit. And until part 2, peace.